Welcome to the Faith and Mental Health Podcast, where two worlds collide. I am your host, DeAndrea Bolden. Join myself and others as we have relevant, engaging conversation on a variety of topics that are related to faith and mental health. So be sure to tune in weekly and also to subscribe. Did you know that you can listen to this podcast on all major podcast platforms, such as Apple, Google, and even Stitcher? You can even catch this podcast on my YouTube channel. As a listener, please know that we want to hear from you, and we hope that you would reach out with feedback, suggestions, and even ideas for guests and topics that you would like for us to include. Oh, do you mind helping me out by simply sharing this podcast with others? Thank you, and I hope you enjoy today's episode. God bless. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Faith and Mental Health Podcast. And so today I have an amazing guest. His name is Kelvin Weathers, but I'm going to allow him to introduce himself and let you guys, our listeners, know a little bit more about him. Kelvin?
Thank you, Dr. Bolden, and thank you for your platform. I don't know if I'm amazing, but I try to be. I'm from Houston, Texas. I born and raised in Texas. I'm all of my siblings are educators. And I'm not a teacher, but my brothers and sisters are. I'm the oldest of five, and I'm from Houston. I work volunteer in the Houston Independent School District, and also a life coach and a minister as well, and also a speaker. And so that's a little bit about me. I love helping people. I love interacting and kind of guiding whatever knowledge I have to help someone else, and share what I know or feel I know with somebody else to be, help them to be better and help them to be wiser and stronger in whatever way that I can. So that's about me. Some a little bit about me, and then and what I do right
now. Awesome. And so to those that are tuning in, and so if you didn't know already, my guest today is Kelvin Weathers. And so he's not just a podcast guest, he is also one of our dynamic speakers for the 2022 Faith and Mental Health Summit. And so I invited him to come on today so we can talk a little bit, not a lot. We don't want to give any details away. We want you guys to just kind of get your beak wet, if you will, with kind of letting you know, who a little bit more about who he is and what he's going to be talking about. Because I want you guys, we're currently updating the virtual platform. We're getting everything all set up. And so you guys will soon be able to register for his talk. And so I want you guys, I'm going to, probably next week, but the e-blast will be going out to those that are on the email list for Faith and Mental Health. And when that e-blast goes out, it's going to let you know where to register, and you'll be able to look up the name Kelvin Weathers, and you'll be able to sign up for his talk. And so I think you're going to be, you won't be disappointed. And so Kelvin, let's talk a little bit about what you are going to be discussing. And I know you said you're a minister and a man of faith. And so this is the Faith and Mental Health Podcast. And so I know you said a lot of what you're talking about is going to be dealing with being resilient. Now, for a lot of people, that seems like, resilient, just one word, nothing big. It is something big.
Yes.
We have been in a global melee, if you will. There's just been a lot of chaos and all types of things going on, and it's affected people's mental health in a very negative way for some people. Some people have been dealing with a lot of anxiety. People have been dealing with depression. We're seeing more public post about people committing suicide, and this stuff is just it's heart-wrenching. And so I think people need to realize that resilience may sound simple, but it's needed and it's so important right now. So go ahead, Kelvin, and take it away.
Awesome. Your summit is a great idea, and it's an awesome idea. You're going to have many heavy hitters on, and many but my talk mainly because resilience can, if you're in the military, if you're in life, if you're on a football team, if you're an athlete, if you're a coach, if you're a business executive, if you're an employee, overcoming being fired, overcoming losing a loved one, overcoming uh, losing a child, overcoming so many things. Resilience is I don't want to say vitally important, but maybe it is vitally important in society today. So knowing how to recover or how to bounce back from adversity, how to bounce back from tribulation and tragedy and struggle and turmoil. And with the global melees, as you said, in this global pandemic, resilience, mental health has been highlighted more. And we don't want to be well. I mean, it's a blue. What's going on. I mean, we see recently even with the former Miss USA and others, and you have other situations to where people are taking their lives, and because we're now inside more, and we have more time and by ourselves, and not out as much with large gatherings. It's picking up, but not like we used to. Um, Resilience and just knowing to have that inner peace and joy is vitally important, to just to know that you have something to live for and a reason to live and a reason to keep going in spite of difficulties, because life is not always easy. And like the Hugh says, life is not a crystal stair. So that's what my, just kind of would deal with, just how you overcome, how do you stay in faith, how do you stay in purpose, how do you stay with your passions and with your persistence in spite of all that's going on, and in spite of what you deal with and what we go through, still hang in there. It's very, that's very, we need that. We need it more than now than ever. So it may, like you said, may seem like just a small thing, but it's a really huge thing to just to know how to overcome a setback and bounce back. That's vitally important right now more than ever.
I like what you said about being able to bounce back and recover. Um, that's something that really
Yeah.
stuck out to me when you said that, because I think a lot of people have to learn how to cope and how to keep going. I think sometimes life can be so overwhelming.
Hmm.
And when you don't have enough time to recover, because life has been hitting a lot of people fast, people have lost their jobs, then they lost their cars, then they lost their homes. And it's just been one thing after another. And I've seen a lot of people mentally, they're just drowning.
Hmm.
And so having that resilience sometimes, I think, and especially again with this being faith and mental health, I think sometimes people have to realize when you're to the point where you feel like you're drowning and you can't bounce back anymore, it's so important to reach out to get those professional mental health services
Hmm.
and know that you're not alone and there is help and there is support, because I think sometimes life just keeps happening, and when it seems
Hmm.
like life won't stop, for some people they literally give up. It's a
Hmm.
lot. It's a fight out here. People are fighting to keep a roof over their head. There a
Hmm.
lot of couples, a lot of marriages have
Yeah.
kind of split up during a lot of this being at home and the shutdowns and all this stuff. And so this stuff has taken a toll on a lot of people in a lot of ways. And I just think it's so important that we learn how to cope, and then it's important that we learn to adjust because life has changed.
Yeah.
When we look at society, things have changed and they're not going back to normal. And
Yeah.
so we have to learn how to pivot. And unfortunately, for some people, especially when you're talking about people that may have already been dealing with a lot of hardship, trauma, and childhood issues, and then you add a pandemic on top of it, and
Yeah. Yeah.
are just
Yeah.
worn out. So what would you suggest to people as far as maybe some tips to not give up, to stay resilient, and even for those that ascribe to be a part of the household of faith, what are some things they can do to keep their faith strong and not give up in this hour?
Well, I'm sure as a woman of, I mean, you would know probably my answer that I'm probably going to give would be biblical, that you would get the word and the word of God, and getting it and having that, embodying it and letting it, meditating upon it, but also, just not the Bible, but I mean, that's number one. But other, having a circle, an inner circle of people that can really build you up. That can stretch you. I've said on a couple of times and different times. I said, so you need people that won't coddle you but will challenge you.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have and then the right books, um, and just even stepping away for a season, stepping away from certain things and certain places, meditate, solitude. If it's listening to music, if it's traveling, not if it's some things may not take a lot of money, but as far as the Bible and as far as other things, but just anything that you like to do or that you can enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
try to do that as much as you can. It may just be uh, uh, going to a movie. It may just be just something getting away, just getting, and not let the pressures of life get you and weigh you down to the point of thinking of giving up. And so and realizing just internally that also this is you have to watch what you say to yourself and how you speak to yourself.
Sure.
And that's important too, though. Having affirmations, having positive affirmations, having self-talk that's positive is helpful. Because you're so much when you have disappointment sometimes, and you think you're supposed to be further ahead in life, and you think you're supposed to have more, and when sometimes something may happen, you have a agreement that's canceled, and a business deal that goes away, and you think, wow, what's wrong with me? I can't. And then also, I don't want to get on a tangent, but it's like not comparing yourself to others,
That's good.
because you can see other people going to a certain level, but you don't know how it took them, how long it took them to get to where they are, and what steps it took them to get to where they are.
That's really good. And
Because that'll cause us to give up. And we sometimes see other people. If I'm a speaker and I see somebody else doing all this, I'm like, man, what's wrong with me? Why am I not like him? Why, their podcast has all this, and mine doesn't, whatever it may be. That can also hurt us if we compare ourselves to the point of, comparing ourselves to others.
I heard a statement that comparison is a thief of joy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think the society we live in with social media and reality TV, it almost shoves other people in our face,
Hmm.
where it causes us, even if we don't want to compare our lives to other people. And
Hmm.
so one thing I've been suggesting to people as it comes to their mental health, I was like, hey, you may have to take a break from social media. You may have to turn the news on. You may have to stop watching some TV shows. And I like some of the other suggestions you made about doing things you enjoy. Sometimes we have to get that spark back in life. And, life can be so mundane sometimes when you just go to work, go to the store, go to bed. It's almost like Groundhog's Day every day. Sometimes you have to break up the monotony and do things you enjoy. And it could be hobbies, fishing, golfing,
Yeah,
journaling, doing
yeah,
painting,
yes.
playing an instrument, singing,
Hmm.
exercising, whatever it is that is going to bring you some joy and allow you to break away from that mindset that's robbing you from being how to almost like conscious of this gift of life.
Yeah.
Sometimes things going wrong can cause us to forget, like, man, I'm alive.
Hmm.
Like there's still hope. There's I
Yeah.
still have purpose. There's still time. And so can you share a little bit more about some of the things you do to stay resilient? Because obviously I don't know you, you don't know me, but I know that anybody that's lived this life is not going to get out unscathed. You're going to have some
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
of hurt, pain, disappointment. So what are some of the things that you've done to stay resilient as an individual?
On the wall, there are some affirmations that are there that I like to read, and then the word, um, and then also just I feel like I have not a big circle of people, but I have a couple people that I can go to. I was telling the young men that I go to the Ascending to Men. We was talking about self care one day, and I was
Mhm.
telling them that you have to have somebody in your corner, somebody you can go to and you can rely on. And that could be, I mean, I had a therapist years ago, I don't now, but and I have a couple of men that I can go to that they can challenge me. We can talk amongst each other. We can share our goals. We can share our dreams. We can share. They can challenge me. I can challenge them. So, and then, family, my wife, and some of that's helpful to me, is, that helps me just keep going, and having goals and having, aspirations and things I want to accomplish. That keeps me going and keeps me resilient. So, I don't have, I had a vision board years ago. I didn't create one this year, but I think I need to do it again. But I wrote down some goals, some things that I want to accomplish. And so having those things written down, looking at them, seeing them, seeing, me being the oldest of five and people looking to me for, to do some great things in life. So that kind of keeps me going to not want to give up, even when things get tough and when things get rough, to keep on going. And so, and I have, I believe, I don't, a lot of family where I hope they don't listen to this. I mean, I don't have everybody in the family, all rocking with me, but I have some people that really, love me and support me. And that helps me too, being able to talk to them, being able to go to family gatherings and just, in an immediate circle that kind of helps me too.
I like one thing. I want to mention one more thing before we uh, move forward. Rusty, we got a few minutes left. One thing you said twice that I think is very important is you talked about having a support group, people around you that keep you accountable, people
Yeah.
that love you, people that will support you. And I think it's important for us to realize as human beings that we are made to have relationships and be
Yeah.
connected to other people.
Yes.
And it's not healthy when we are just off by ourselves. And I think sometimes being disconnected from people can cause us to fall deeper sometimes into despair than if we stay connected with people that could encourage us and maybe pray for us or whatever, point us in the right direction, or whether it's therapy, whatever it is. But we need other people is the point. But I think it's important. One thing I've been saying since this global situation began is community is important.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you called it a support group or group, it's community.
Yeah.
We need community. And so what suggestion do you give to people that may say, and I do a lot of community work. I work with people that are dealing with homelessness and all type of things. So I work with people all the time. And so what do you say to people that for whatever reason, whether it's death or whatever, they don't have any family, they don't have I meet too many people that say, I don't have anyone, I don't have any children. Some people never have kids. And some people, I've seen a lady, she didn't have any children. The only person she had was her husband and he died. And so like, what do you say to people that have no one? Where can they get that sense of community? How can they find that community to help them so that they can stay resilient and keep pushing forward?
That's a great question. That's a tough question. And even, me being, I don't have any children, but it would have to, that's where I would say community and the church and would be able to help someone. And that would be where they would have to, if they didn't have that, that's what therapy, or that's where spiritual organization, church, or other organizations would have to come in and to be able to be helpful. If someone has, they don't have any siblings, they don't have any family, they're by themselves, that's kind of where they'd have to find, or community would have to come to them, whether it be a Rotary, not a Rotary club, but a civic club, or organizations that are local in there, are close to them, that they can reach out to. Or it'd be maybe if they don't they're with the gym. Well, I mean, you can't really meet people necessarily in certain organizations and gyms and things like that, but it would have to be where they would that's where the church and other community would come in. I would say that most likely to help if someone has no siblings, they don't have anybody that they can really go to by themselves. They would have to um, seek out some help, seek out some people to kind of go and help alongside them. You know, and um, if somebody was in that position, if they needed to talk to somebody, if they need to talk to me, I'm sure talk to you. That's that's where we help people, and I know you're helping in that regard. So I would say you have to reach out to an organization that's kind of a social services based or community based organization. When I was growing up, my mom one time we went to the Shape Community Center, and it was a center locally, like not far from where my grandmother and sister would live. But they was like they taught on karate, they taught us some other things, and we stayed there and taught us camping, and it was an organization that we were in that kind of helped us. Um, but it wasn't a family. So kind of like you have to maybe I don't know if there's all shapes in every community, but there's some organization in that community that exists to help people, and that's where they can go to.
I agree. And I was make a couple of suggestions, and then we're gonna go ahead and switch things over. And because I think community is important for your mental health. You got to have those social relationships, your social health and your the health of your relationships matter, and it plays a part. When God forbid if somebody had no family and they were dealing with being sick and there's no one there, they may not bounce back
Yeah.
when they feel like there's no hope, or they may not recover as quickly or anything like that. That kind of stuff matters. And so one thing I would suggest, if someone said, I don't really have anyone, or maybe even they're somewhere new and they don't really know anyone, find events around your hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
Find clubs around your hobbies.
Yeah.
I also suggest if anyone is dealing with things such as anxiety and depression, I always primarily say, please find a mental health professional that can help you work through, what you're dealing with. But then also a lot of cities and in different areas, there are support groups for things like that, whether it's eating disorders, whether it's substance abuse or whatever it is. A lot of times there's support groups. And so I think it's important to realize that we need community, we need each other. And so to those that have been tuning in, and so again, my guest today is Kelvin Weathers. And so we're gonna get ready to switch gears because I want him to tell you guys that he's an author. See, he could have skated on out of this interview, but I want you guys to know this man is a published author. So I want him to tell us a little bit about his book, where people can find him, and where you can find his book if you're interested in making a purchase.
Thank you. And I love what you said about those organizations that can help people, and you go and seek out. I have a next door neighborhood group in our community, and we go and there's mental health support. There's different support groups, but the book is called Still I Thrive. It's a book, 24 stories on pivoting and evolving during an unexpected crisis. And it taught basically a gentleman gentleman came together, PK Kersey, along with 23 others. And their stories on faith, resilience, overcoming, 24 chapters. Some might, I'm not going to say whether people think it's too much or too long or not, but it's about 290 pages, but you'll breeze through them. It's a great read. It's a simple read, but it's some powerful stories in an anthology format. Some powerful and great stories. You can find it on Amazon. It'd be better if you link me or reach out to me to get it. But you can get it on Amazon or Kindle and paperback. Still I Thrive. And that's what it is about. It's about stories of resilience, overcoming, faith, and just stories on how people changed midstream during the pandemic, changed from what they were doing. Even one thing, I give something away. I won't give the whole thing. One of the gentlemen, he started a That Suits You company. He was working for, I believe, the transportation department. And he decided to start from that to then start a company that gave suits to young men. And it kind of gives some of his story. I give some story about myself, about my past, about how I got to where I am today. So, and different authors, they talk about different things, so it's a lot of great stuff in it. So that's the book, Still I Thrive, and you won't be disappointed. Everybody that's got it, I think they liked it. At least nobody told me they didn't like it. So, but so that's what it's about. So thank you for allowing me to share it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you for being my guest today. And for those that are
Thank you for that.
tuning in, we've been talking about resilience with my guest, Kelvin Weathers. He's also going to be a speaker at the Faith and Mental Health Summit this year.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Or you check out the website, www.faithandmentalhealth.net, to keep up with updates, registration, and things like that. But Kelvin, I heard you want to say something. I'll let you go ahead and close us out.
No, I don't. I apologize. I didn't want to be there talk over you, but thank you for your vision to start this summit and your podcast. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for being a visionary and for your just doing what you do. It's really needed and really and pray, takes off and that people know and know what your services are. We just appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone that tuned in. God bless you and goodbye.